Hey guys, Dan here with Battlefield Curator, and we're gonna go over the different types of Milsurp collectors. Now this is kind of an interesting study, but I talked to a friend who's really into psychology, and he was thinking of, hey, why don't you take a dive into the different types of collectors? So collectively, we worked on a list and came up with about 8 different types of collectors. So the following collector types are gonna cover a lot of what's out there, but I wouldn't be surprised if maybe you have a different mentality when it comes to collecting surplus. So, if you think I missed something, or you think you have a different personality when it comes to collecting, let me know in the comments section. Alright, the first type of military surplus collector, we would say, is the novice, and probably a very common one. We may have all started off as the novice collector at some point in time. The novice really doesn't have much knowledge about these firearms, but they see them in media, such as video games and movies. They like to have them, they like to go shoot them, but they're not too into doing a lot of the research that it takes to become a more skilled collector. And really, when it comes down to it, the novice really doesn't have a lot in his or her collection. He's the type of guy that goes onto the Facebook group and goes, "Hey, I just got this type of rifle. I don't know anything about it. Can you guys tell me about it?" And the novice may enjoy shooting them more than collecting them. So yeah, the novice probably is the guy that buys the surplus weapon and then modifies it for practical uses. Mr. Bubba. Alright guys, let's take an intermission and pulverize that like button. And subscribe if you haven't. And don't forget to check out our Instagram and Facebook pages as well. Alright, collector type number 2. The casual. The casual collector may have a decent amount of knowledge gathered through books and informational content, documentaries, reading online forums, etc. The casual collector might have a decent sized collection, ranging from shooters to maybe a few rare pieces. The casual collector could probably name off 3 common facts about each of the firearms he has in his collection, but maybe nothing more than just that. Alright, collector number 3, we're looking at the expert. The expert has gained extensive knowledge on particular collectability and history of firearms. The expert understands the firearms industry and knows its history very well. The expert understands the capital appreciation of historic firearms and the collectability. The expert possesses historic firearms in very good to excellent condition. Some of these weapons may be very rare or unique. And finally, the expert is the guy that takes apart every individual piece, looks at the tiny markings, looks at all the stampings, the cartouches, and studies them and documents them. Alright, Milsurp collector number 4, the investor. The investor has knowledge or extreme desire to collect firearms. The investor says, hey, these things are going to go up in value. I might as well get them. They look great in my wall. I got money. I need something to spend it on. I can donate to a museum if I need tax advantages. Investors realize the capital appreciation of historic pieces and may have an extensive collection of rare and unique pieces, and may even be in the business of firearms or have an upper class status such as a Hollywood actor. This is the guy I picture going, "Hey Jarvis, I need about 20 Lugers in a glass case, 30 M1 Garands, 30 Lee Enfields, and about 60 M1 carbines to fill in some space that I have in a new house I just bought in Las Vegas." Alright, collector number 5, the Curator. This guy has the uppermost and extensive knowledge on firearms and firearms history, as well as war history, military history, US history, Soviet Union history, Czechoslovakia history. The Curator is a history fanatic. He tracks the history of certain firearms and even writes books for others to learn. And in modern times, he may be the guy making documentaries, podcasts, blogs, YouTube videos, all in fun and all to preserve history and share it with others. The Curator is going to possess firearms in different grades of condition, but he'll have some very rare pieces, some pieces in excellent condition, but especially pieces that are historically significant. Maybe ones that can be tied back to actual battles or soldiers that were involved in times of war. When I think of the Curator, I think of somebody like Ian McCullum. Alright, collector number 6, the Inheritor. This guy had inherited his collection from a family member. He probably is the guy that goes to the gun store and says, "When my dad was in WW2, he fought in the Battle of the Bulge. He brought me back this Luger." And he'll tell you everything he knows about that Luger and his granddad. And because the family had been involved such in firearms, there might be a collection that he inherited. The Inheritor probably got interested in these collectible firearms due to the family history behind them. They may have an extensive collection, and they may or may not have sold off some of it. Collector number 7 is the Doomsday Prepper. He has no other reason to collect surplus
except for preparing for apocalyptic times.
Yes, this is the guy that has hundreds of SKSs, Lee Enfields, helmets, uniforms, and hundreds of thousands, if not millions of rounds of surplus ammo. But no offense to any hardcore pack rats or hoarders out there. You guys have your place in the world.
Estate sales.
Alright, collector number 8. The Pop Culture Collector. This guy collects surplus because, hey, it's cool. So when you think about the pop culture collectors, we like to think about these guys and gals as being the AK lovers or the Western collectors, or so basically just a particular and popular niche. This is the guy that loves Mosin Nagants because, well, hey, it's cool, and that they were used by hardcore vodka drinking Soviets. Alright, so collectively we came up with a list of 8, but I decided to add a number 9, and that will be the Tinkerer. This is going to be like your AK builders, your restoration professionals, and your firearms repair experts. They enjoy taking a project rifle, something that has been left for dead essentially, and bringing it back from the grave. Your Tinkerers probably have a collection of mostly rebuilt or refurbished firearms. Tinkerers understand the parts, the mechanics, the history, and they might even fabricate their own parts. Alright, so those are the categories we came up with. If you think you got another one, let me know in the comments. And yeah guys, I don't think anybody really has to be one of these particular categories. For instance, you might have a casual collector that is also a tinkerer. And don't forget to check out some of the other content we got on the channel, as well as our Instagram and Facebook pages. Stay tuned for some of the other videos I've got coming up. And as always guys, make it a great day.